This video is brought to you by my patrons on Patreon and my YouTube members. Click the join button next to the subscribe button or the Patreon link in the description below to join. Asphalt roads need to be repaved every 15 to 30 years, and Haywood Road is up for resurfacing right now. The DOT just dropped their plans, and some of the things that they have in store are really exciting. And there's also some things that could be better. So I'm going to walk you through it and let you know how you can help to improve this project. Asheville is a city bisected by the French Broad River. On the east side of the river, you have downtown, and on the west side of the river, you have West Asheville. The central corridor of West Asheville is Haywood Road, which has a bunch of densely packed storefronts along it, and then roads shooting off of it with low to medium density housing. This design comes from the fact that it was a streetcar suburb. There was a trolley that ran along most of the length of this road before the 1940s thereabouts, when it was ripped out and replaced with just asphalt for cars. Unlike downtown, which has a dense grid on which bicycle and pedestrian traffic is distributed, Haywood Road is almost completely linear, meaning pretty much all of the bicycle and pedestrian traffic is centralized onto this corridor. And for that reason, this is the busiest street in all of the city for bikes and pedestrians. And that's why it's so strange that there are parts of Haywood Road like this, with no bicycle accommodation at all and a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. Haywood Road has a very strange thing here, which is a 4-foot wide sidewalk. I borrowed a tape measure from someone so I could measure it. That's bisected in two by a telephone pole, so that the distance here is only 2 feet wide. I don't know how you're supposed to get past that in a wheelchair, but this is how our city is designed. The Haywood Road resurfacing project is not going to fix this. It's just a thing about Haywood Road that has always pissed me off, and I wanted to vent about it. The design of the Haywood Road resurfacing is critical. We're talking about the busiest street for bikes and pedestrians in the entire city, and this infrastructure is going to remain in place for the next several decades. So what's getting improved? First, the design speed and the posted speed limit are getting lowered to 20 miles an hour for the entire corridor. This is a huge win for safety because speed is the #1 factor in determining how deadly or injurious a crash will be. The travel lanes for cars are getting narrowed to about 10 to 11 feet, which will slow cars down and make things much safer. They're adding a crosswalk to get across Haywood Road at Parkwood Road, which is great. We love a crosswalk. They're adding brand new bike lanes in both directions, from Belmont Ave to Sulphur Springs Road, and then from Westwood Place to Beecham's Curve. They're adding pedestrian bulb outs to 13 crosswalks. That's a huge safety win. And they're adding so many rectangular rapid flashing beacons. Those are the pedestrian crosswalk signs with the button that you press that makes the lights flash. I counted 52 signal heads in total. That's a lot, but I guess that's a win. I'll take it. I'm stoked about these changes. They're going to be a big improvement from what's already here. At the same time, there are a couple of things about the plan that are strange. The plans appear to show a couple of crosswalks getting removed. These might be mistakes, I don't really know, but all I can do is go off of the engineering plans that they've given us, which show no painted crosswalks at Dorchester Ave, State Street, and Westwood Place. There's even a crosswalk across Haywood Road that's getting removed at Hanover Street. The bike lane is also divided in two. It only goes to the outer reaches of Haywood Road, so towards Beecham's Curve and towards Patton Avenue, but the middle section of Haywood Road doesn't get a bike lane at all. That's because there's not enough width curb to curb to fit in on-street parking and a bike lane. So they're going to subsidize the storage of privately owned automobiles at free, unmetered spaces, and do so at the expense of the safety of cyclists. Not at all surprising, but still disappointing. Perhaps the worst part of the design is between Brevard Road and Westwood Place, a large section in the middle of Haywood Road where the travel lanes for cars will be 13 to 14 feet wide. For reference, a standard lane width for an interstate highway travel lane is 12 feet, and we're doing 14 on the middle of Haywood Road, our busiest pedestrian corridor. That makes no sense. That is going to encourage cars to drive very fast in that section, and that is a bad design for this area. According to NCDOT, the design they've given us is the design they're willing to pay for, and any changes that the city of Asheville wants to make will be at the city's expense. And we have a very short period of time to suggest these design changes. These engineering drawings have just come out, and it's only going to be a matter of weeks before the contract is actually awarded. It's also high stakes because this infrastructure is going to be in place for decades to come, and so we need to get it right and make sure we have the safest design possible. So we have to act quickly. Luckily, Strong Towns has a local chapter here in Asheville called Strong Towns Asheville, and at our last meeting, we put together a list of 5 recommendations of how to improve the Haywood Road resurfacing project that we're going to present to Council at the upcoming June 11th City Council meeting. Our recommendations are strategic. They have to be low cost in order for them to be funded by the city of Asheville, and we have to know how to pick our battles with NCDOT about what they will and won't allow the city to do. So just know these recommendations aren't the most radical vision for what I would want to see on Haywood Road, but we're going for what's attainable here. Here are Strong Towns Asheville's recommendations that we're presenting to City Council. First, crosswalks should be surface treated or painted with contrasting colors. This clearly delineates those spaces as being for pedestrians and not for cars. And we have proof and extensive studies that show that this has a dramatic increase in the efficacy of sidewalks in terms of pedestrian, cyclist, and driver safety. Second, green infrastructure like what we have at the corner of Westwood Place and Haywood Road already should be installed. This is great for stormwater retention and for traffic calming. It's low cost and it'll improve the streetscape of Haywood Road. Third, signs indicating that bicycles can use the full traffic lane should be installed in places where a bike lane is not present. This indicates to motorists that they need to be yielding to cyclists and that cyclists have the right to use the entire lane. Fourth, dedicated bike lanes should be painted green. We need this to delineate the space that it is for bicycles and not for cars. A single white line of thermoplastic is not enough, and the lowest cost, most efficient way to improve the safety of the bike lanes that are going in would be to paint them green. Fifth, and probably most important, any place in the design where car travel lanes are greater than 10 feet should be narrowed down to 10 feet. We need a 10-foot maximum for the travel lanes on Haywood Road in order to keep traffic slow and safe. A sixth bonus point that's not technically in the Strong Towns Asheville list, but that I'm adding here is that no crosswalks should be removed. Yes, add the new crosswalks. Do not remove any of the old ones. Any crosswalk that was there before should be repainted in the new Haywood Road resurfacing project. If implemented, these recommendations could save real people's lives and prevent real people from getting lifelong disabling traumatic injuries. So if you agree that we deserve the safest version of Haywood Road possible, then please email Asheville City Council. I've included the email address and an email template in the description, but we have to show that we have broad support for urgent changes that need to be made to the Haywood Road resurfacing plan so that City Council knows we want these changes. Thanks so much for watching. I want to support my patrons on Patreon and my supporters on YouTube. They are the people that make this possible. If you want to support me or get access to monthly bonus videos or get early access to my videos or have your name included here at the end of the video, then join my Patreon or click the join button on YouTube to become a member. It's next to the subscribe button and the Patreon links in the description. There's multiple different tiers that you can support me at, and any support that you can give seriously helps me to be able to do this at all. So please subscribe, and thank you to all of my patrons who are already doing it. Y'all freaking rock. All right, have a good one. I gotta bike home.